There you go. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll call the city council meeting for Monday, January 13th to order. May I have a motion on the minutes?
Moved.
Second. All those in favor, post carried. Any agenda additions or deletions?
None, your worship.
Okay. May I have a motion to go into committee to hear delegations on items that are on the agenda? All those in favor, post carried. Are there any people wishing to speak to us? We've got a couple of non-agenda delegations already, but on anything that's on the agenda? Anyone? May I have a motion, rise and report? All those in favor, post carried. Very brief consent agenda. We have the committee minutes, and then we have a land use application, which is for first, second, and third reading. 6251 and 71 Williams Road rezoning from RSML zone to low-density townhouses, RTL4. So may I have a motion to adopt those items by consent? Moved and seconded. Any discussion on that? All those in favor? Any opposed? Sorry?
No one's speaking on it, anything?
You are.
Okay, thanks. And yeah, it is a short item. I just had one question of staff about the 6251, 6271 Williams Road rezoning. Just about the parking thing, that was interesting to read about our policy about in order to have small parking stalls, there has to be a minimum of 31 parking spots, but the variance that was requested to do 20, because they've got 2 spots per unit, so 20 spots total, and half of them are going to be small. Each unit's going to have a small and a large. So I was just wondering what the rationale is around the 31 number, and is it generally just to have something in there and then you would consider all variances? Because if you did 50% instead of a number like 31, then it lead to more issues. Like, where are we at with that?
Okay, there you go.
Yes, through your worship, to Councillor Gillanders. I believe the rationale is that typically if you have a large number of parking spaces, then you only end up with a certain proportion having the tandem scenario, so it's not applied in all scenarios. However, in this case, because it is a smaller development, by providing tandem for a certain proportion, they are able to fit one regular size and one smaller size parking space into the lot. I believe Mr. Reese may have something additional to add.
Through your worship to Councillor Gillanders, just to clarify, the variance in this case is for small car spaces, not for tandem parking spaces.
Yeah.
And so, and yes, in this case, the applicant has requested a variance in order to allow for the variance on the small car spaces only. There is no variance related to tandem, and there is no tandem parking proposed as part of the proposal. So just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering why you have to have a minimum of 31 spots in order to be allowed that number of small spots.
All right, Councillor Day.
Thank you very much. On page 52, we have a aerial map of where this development is going to be, which is on Williams Road. And right now, there are established houses, single-family houses to the east and to the west. But this development is going to have a T-shaped driveway, which is on page 55. So that means, I would imagine, that one day, as those other single-family homes get developed into townhouses, that this T-shaped driveway will then continue to the east and continue to the west. Is that correct?
Through your worship, yes, that's correct.
Okay, so we've run into this many, many, many times before. 20 years from now, we're going to get a development on the east or the west, and the people who live in these 10 houses are going to say, we didn't know that our access was going to be expanded to the east and the west. So what we've been doing in the past is registering that right-of-way on the complex, like just the roadway. I would like to see each one of those 10 townhouses have the registered right-of-way so that whenever somebody buys one of these now and 5 and 10 years from now, they know that one day it could happen, and likely will happen, that those dead-end roads will continue through to the east and the west. Is that possible?
Yes, through your worship to Councillor Day. It is currently required to be registered on the main title as well as the individual titles. Staff also do require that there be wayfinding signage so that it indicates that this will be a future connection. So it'd be something, for example, a sign on the fencing to the east and to the west so that the current residents will recognize that that is a future connection, as well as in the sales center, there is to be information to indicate that there will be a future connection. So we've tried to ensure some of those
Okay.
measures.
I'm sorry, but that isn't good enough. We've had it happen before where people have bought townhouses and the lawyers or the notaries have not checked the strata itself, and these people have bought many, many times in the past and had no idea that this strata
Well,
would eventually have.
is that factually correct? Because I believe that they are on the titles to the individual strata units.
Through your worship, yes, that's correct.
So it's not just on the common property or something like that. It's actually on someone's title.
Okay, because that isn't what numerous lawyers, real estate agents,
No.
and notaries have told previous owners.
That's what the public has told us. But in fact, it's on there. And the lawyers and the notaries haven't done their job and told people about it.
So it will be registered on each and every townhouse. Good, that's all I need to know. Thank you.
All right, we'll call the question on the consent agenda. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. That brings us to, sorry? What minutes are those? No, we just passed the consent agenda and that's on it. So we're now going to the announcements. First of all, we've got a couple of announcements coming out of closed council the last year. First of all, the notice about the service agreement with the Richmond Nature Park Society. City has entered into a 5-year agreement with the Nature Park Society for the delivery of community programs and events in connection with the Richmond Nature Park that encourage and promote public awareness of and interest in the study of nature, environmental sustainability, and outdoor education. Secondly, for the community gardens, on December 31st last year, the City and Richmond Food Security Society, doing business as Urban Bounty, amended its existing 5-year operating and license agreement with the school district number 38 to expand the license areas of various city garden sites on which the society manages and operates the city's community gardens program. The society's terms of operation in the license areas at school district garden sites remain unchanged. Then to more general announcements, we have the Richmond Arts Award nominations. Nominations are now open for the 17th Annual Richmond Arts Awards. These are awards in partnership with the Richmond Arts Coalition, recognize the artistic achievements and their contributions to the cultural community by residents, artists, educators, and others. So deadlines for the nomination is March 10th, and details are on the city website. Then we have the Richmond Art Gallery, the exhibitions. We got 2 exhibitions that are coming up. First of all, Speak No Emergency uses hand-fashioned figures to capture the impact of disasters and climate change. And secondly, one called Dear Plastic is a multi-artist exhibit showing the potential of plastic as artistic materials. Both exhibits run until March 23rd, so go to the Art Gallery website for more information. Then we have public feedback, the 5-year financial plan. Residents are encouraged to provide feedback on the city's proposed consolidated 5-year financial plans going out to the year 2029. The plan is available for review and comment on the city's Let's Talk Richmond engagement platform, which now offers several new features, including a multi-language translation tool. So deadline for the feedback is Sunday, January 19th. So go to Let's Talk Richmond and by all means, give us your comments. And finally, we have the Community Celebration Grants. Applications are open for the 2025 Community Celebration Grants. Richmond-based nonprofit and faith-based groups such as the parent advisory committees, community associations, student councils are welcome to apply. Grants of up to $2,000 are available to support local initiatives that strengthen our community, such as cultural celebrations, concerts, and movies in the park. The deadline for applications is Sunday, February 9th, and application details are online at the Richmond website /celebration grant. So that brings us to the bylaws for adoption. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Your Worship. There is one bylaw for final adoption with no noted opposition.
Moved and seconded, discussion. All those in favor, opposed, carried. And it brings us to the public delegations on non-agenda items. We've got two of such delegations. May I have a motion to resolve into committee of the whole to hear delegations on non-agenda items? Moved. All those in favor, opposed, carried. So the first one is Mr. Goodwin, Harold Goodwin from the RCG Group to delegate on Coppersmith Way. Sir, please come forward. Have a seat at the table. And just a minute, we'll get your microphone. Yeah, there's your microphone is now on. And sir, introduce yourself and you've got 5 minutes.
Thank you, Your Worship. My name is Harold Goodwin. I'm president of the company owning the property that is requesting the discharge of the statutory right-of-way at 11371 Coppersmith Way, Goodwin Enterprises, 2015 LTD. There was a submission provided October 28th and
We have it.
resubmitted. So assuming, as I had, that you have had the opportunity to review that, I just wanted to appear to reinforce our interest in having this right-of-way encumbrance discharged, and wanted to express that we think it's a very simple issue. We don't see any material objection to it, and so if you'd like, I can go into a little bit of summary that might comprise some of the 5 minutes, but otherwise I'd be happy to try to answer any questions if there are any.
Why don't you just give us a little rundown?
The property was bought by our company in 1989, and a building was built in 1990. An addition was designed, and a development permit application applied for in 2000, I believe, right around 2000, 2001. And at the time, it was acknowledged by all parties that there was a statutory right-of-way pre-existing on the property. Our submission is that there was a clear understanding identifying the existence of it, and that it would be removed as part of the exercise of the development. Of the beneficiary of the right-of-way is the city, so it would be the city that had to act to discharge it. 20 years onward, or 22, 23 years onward, having not had any occasion to recognize that it had not in fact been discharged by the city, our organization sought to finance the property, and the lender brought our attention to the fact that it in fact had not been discharged. So we approached the city and asked if they would do what they said they would do, what they were representing they would do 20 odd years prior. And we're informed ultimately that it would have to be an act of city council to discharge that. So we submitted this request, and that's the, I suppose the only other thing I might add is that the city solicitor asked if we'd consider an encroachment agreement in lieu. That's, as I understand it from our council, something that is typically considered in a context where there's been an intentional or unintentional omission or act by the party in our position here that owns the property. That's not the case here. And it would negatively impact and prejudice the financeability, the value, and the prospects of the ability to lease the property. Potentially, it would also oblige, as the draft was written and proposed to us, a number of other sort of prejudicial characteristics, including having that we acknowledge that we have no rights over the SRW area. We'd have to remove the building if the city required it at the end of the encroachment, or if we're in breach, provide a very broad release and indemnity, et cetera. So I think it's straightforward. We believe it is simple and straightforward that there was a representation made at the time of the development and the building permit, which was subsequently issued and the building built, that the city would discharge the right-of-way. There seems to be no issue there. I might also add that in this ensuing 20-plus years, to our knowledge, there's been no need or demand or request for the use of the property by either the city or utilities.
All right, thank you very much, sir. There's no questions. I'm going to suggest that we would refer that to staff for comment. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor, opposed, carried. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And the second non-agenda delegation, Mr. Lazos and Mr. Ramji, to delegate on the Steveston Hotel. Please come forward, sirs. And as with the last speaker, introduce yourself, and you've got 5 minutes.
Thank you for giving us time to talk to you.
Pull it right in, please.
And my name is Kanaris Dimitri Lazos. Some of you most likely know me. First of all, we want to thank you for your service you're providing to us and to the City Hall, to the City of Richmond. I've been working with the City Hall of Richmond since 1981, over 40 years, before you built this building, when it was a little house. We also want to thank Mr. James Cooper, who helped us a lot through these years. And we have done quite a few improvements to the Steveston Hotel. But each time we're trying to get a permit, it takes too long time. There's quite a few reasons, and especially the last one, it took us over 3 years to get the permits. The main reason is because this hotel has been designated as a heritage building. We would appreciate if you can take a little time to consider that. I think that's a little mistake. I believe that there is a historic value on the name Steveston Hotel. There's not even a value of $5 to any architectural feature that there is in that hotel. The main problem we have is that we cannot compete in business. The owner has bought this building to make business. Hotel business, restaurant business, and whatever he has is based on something modern, something that goes with our days. And it looks like we want to go backwards. We cannot compete with others. Not even one guest so far have rented or came to stay in Steveston because of the historic value. As a matter of fact, I bet you my life, 99.9% of the guests, they don't even know anything about the Steveston Hotel. We are trying to make it, we would like to even demolish it and build something new, something modern to compete with others. Just to give you an example, downtown, the Four Seasons Hotel, which is a historic building, is getting demolished right now to build a totally brand new building. We have been restricted. And every time we're trying to do something, we have been restricted with the word heritage. And we're supporting something that, to my opinion, makes no sense. For instance, this building was built in the 1800s. Right now it has vinyl siding. Excuse my language, but it looks like an outdated, almost garbage building. And we're trying to conform with the bylaw, having, let's say, the doors to have handicap entrance, but there is not even an elevator in there for the handicap to go upstairs. We cannot put an elevator because we don't have no heights. And there's so many restrictions that we cannot make business out of it. So what we're trying to ask you, to beg you or to petition you, to take a look at it, and if possible, please remove it from the status. You can keep the heritage name of the hotel, Stevenson Hotel. You can always stay as a Stevenson Hotel. But there is no value. Even the rooms that we're renting, they have so small windows and we cannot do nothing about it because that's how we inherited it. The only reason that we rent it is people come there, they look at it, it looks cheap, so they have cheap rates, and that's why they come. Or when the city is full and there's no other accommodations, they come to that hotel. They don't come because it's a beautiful hotel. And we are trying to make it a beautiful hotel, a beautiful building. I have no other words, but just to say that we're trying, if possible, please remove it from the heritage status. You can have a heritage history on it. We can have the Stevenson Hotel that has a historic value, but there is no architectural value. And as we're progressing in life, we're trying to compete with others, and this building is bought, purchased for business. Business means to make money, to make a profit. We make no profits, simply because we are stuck with the name, heritage, don't do nothing, just stay. So might as well bring horses there, like it used to be in the 1800s. Thank you for your time, from my side.
Thank you very much, sir. We don't have any questions of either of you, so we'll excuse you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'm also suggesting on this one, we would have a referral to staff. Moved and seconded to get their comments on it. Any comments? All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. No, motion to rise and report.
So moved.
All those in favor, opposed, carried, and now adjournment. Okay.